the first 30 seconds of your podcast intro or trailer can either win or lose your listener. In fact, it's probably the thing that's helping you decide if you want to keep listening to this episode or not. I have so much in store for you today. We're talking about podcast intros, outros, and trailers, how to use them. I'm giving you my best tips. So join me and let's get into this episode. It's no secret that the first 10 to 30 seconds of any content you create is so important. Whether you're creating a short video or you're creating a YouTube short or you're creating a long podcast episode, how you start off that content is crucial. It is the thing that's going to keep people coming back for more or bouncing off and going to something else. Today, we're going to talk about your intro, your outro, and your trailer, and a little bit about this first 30 seconds. So let's start there. If you think about your very favorite content, your very favorite creators, there's something about them that captures you. There's something about the way that they do their content that makes you want to listen more. If I think just off the top of my head, some of the top podcasters that are out there, your Diary of a CEO, Joe Rogan's, Mel Robbins, so on, all names that we probably recognize, they start off their content in a way that makes you excited for more. Now, this happens through things like a trailer, your intro, your outro, but it's also in the composition and the way that the episode is set up. Your hook is so important. Whether you're writing a social media caption or you're creating a video for YouTube or you're just creating a couple of clips, you need those clips to start off with something that's going to draw the audience in, and your podcast is no different. So you can hear so many different styles of podcasts, right? We have creators who put a 10 to 30 second clip at the beginning of their episode. We have people who, like me in my content, I like to put a 10-second hook at the beginning to tell you exactly what we're going to be covering. And some creators don't put anything at all and they go straight to the actual intro. The truth of the matter is people's attention spans are shorter than ever. So we want to make sure that yes, we're capturing their attention, but not just capturing their attention. We want to make sure that we're providing things that are actually valuable. I hear time and time again how people don't want to hear rambling, especially when you want a solution to a problem or if you've come to a specific episode for a specific type of interview. You want to get to the point. There's all kinds of shows out there that'll talk to their audience in the beginning, and that's awesome. Absolutely, you want to make sure that you're doing that, but you also want to be mindful of the listener experience. Have you gotten into your content in the first 5 to 7 minutes? If you haven't, are you maybe not delivering on the promise that you've set out with your show? That 30 seconds is your differentiator, so you really want to make sure that it counts. And if you're not sure of exactly what to say or what to put in there, check out my podcast launch blueprint. It is in the episode notes below. It is totally free for you, and it'll give you some more insight into this and how to actually do this. Let's get into your podcast intro. There's been so much talk over the last couple of years of how to do a podcast intro, how to do it properly. It used to be that your podcast intro would be 30, 60, 90 seconds long, introducing you, the host, telling a little bit of the story about how you got to where you are, and then getting into the conversation. While people still do that, and it's not technically wrong, it's shifted and evolved in a way that creators understand their listeners and they understand that people just want to get to the point. So in your intro, as long as you're making sure you say your name, solidifying who you are, and building that rapport with your audience, you are good to go. I don't want you to overthink the intro too much, but you want to make sure that it sounds good. You want to make sure that the quality is there. And you want to make sure that it's giving a little insight into your show and what the audience can expect by listening in. I'm going to give you one more tip on your podcast trailer, and I'm going to save it for the end because first I want to talk about your podcast outro. And when I talk to clients, they're like, oh, do I really need it? What does it do? And so on. Your podcast outro is the call to action of your show. It's how you invite people to take that next step with you. What do you want them to do? What next step do you want them to take? That goes in your podcast outro. So for example, if I want my listener to go and grab my podcast launch blueprint, I'm going to make that my call to action in my podcast outro. Yes, this is something that is a little bit templated. It is something that is a little bit generic. Week over week, you use the same one. But there are other ways that you can use the outro as well. More about that is actually my podcast launch kit, which is an online course that I've created for podcasters to launch your show from A to Z, every single thing that you need. I've also put the link to that in the episode notes below. One final thought for you on the podcast trailer. The podcast trailer is single-handedly one of the best marketing assets that you can have for your show. It's supposed to be a snippet, a look, a dive into your show, what it's about, who it's for, and what people can expect from that content. The purpose of it is to help your listeners and help your audience convert over and subscribe and follow your show. So you want that trailer to be clear. You want it to tell a really powerful story. And you can do that in a trailer that is only a minute or two long. Not only that, your podcast trailer is a huge marketing asset. It is a piece of content that you can use to generate more awareness and more downloads for your show. If you have questions on this, just let me know. You can find all the answers you're looking for in the podcast launch kit. Thanks for tuning in today, and I cannot wait to see you same time, same place next week.